everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Zee Garcia.
I'm Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at a two-player card game that you might have guessed from the title, Duel for Cardia.
Which, by the way, is the worst part of this game, is the name.
The title is not great. It's a duel, which means it's for two. It's a land called Cardia, which means it's a card game for two. That's good. I mean, it's descriptive of what you're getting.
Yes, that's true.
Anyway, let me go ahead and show you how the game works. Again, simultaneous head-to-head card game. We'll come on back. We'll tell you what we think. In the game, you're going to have various tokens to use as counters. You are going to have 4 decks of cards. 2 across the top here, which are level 1s, and are the ones I'm going to be showing you the game with, are identical. And then these 2, both level 2s, also identical to each other. You can choose to play with these at the top. You can choose to play with the ones at the bottom. You can even mix and make up your own deck, but the player across from you must have an identical deck to yours. But we're not going to worry about any of that right now. I'm going to get rid of these. I'll let you discover that on your own. And then there's also some locations over here that you could reveal the beginning of the game and use to modify the entire play, but we're also not going to worry about those. Again, you can discover that on your own. Each player is going to get an identical deck of cards. They're going to shuffle that deck, and they are going to draw 5 cards from it. You have 2 player aids per player as well, and then you are ready to begin. So in the game, we are going to be going through the rounds, and a round overview is shown right here, and it entails both players playing a card simultaneously, revealing that card, the higher card getting a signet, and then the lower card triggering its ability. The abilities are going to come in 2 flavors: instantaneous abilities like this one here, or if they have an ongoing symbol, then they are ongoing abilities, and you would leave a token there to remind you of that. It's possible that token will clear and that ability will go away. If you do win by playing the higher of the 2 cards, then you do not trigger the ability. You just put a signet on there. And one of the ways you can win in this game is at the end of the round, after you do the final step, which is draw a card, you check if either player has 5 or more signets, and if so, they win the game. So that's one way in which you can win. If your opponent cannot play a card because they've drawn out the deck and they've played out their whole hand, you will win if your opponent cannot play. And then the final way in which you might win is through a card ability, such as this card right here, 16. If you manage to trigger this ability, which is very difficult because it is the highest card, unlikely to trigger, you will also win the game. So again, every player is going to have a hand of 5, and we are going to play 1 card at a time, over and over, until the game comes to a conclusion. So I'm just going to play randomly for a second. This player will play the 16. I play the 9. They get a signet ring. I trigger my ability. My ability says choose a faction. Your opponent discards all cards of the chosen faction from their hand. Great. Here are the factions. So I might say Academy. Okay, well, there we go. They have to discard both of these cards. And then, finally, we each draw 1. Notice they do not draw back up to 5. They will draw 1 card. And I draw 1 card, and then we check if either player has 5 signets. Not true, so we play again. I play a card, they play a card, we reveal them. Their card, once again, wins because it's higher, and my ability triggers. Your opponent discards the top 2 cards of their deck. Okay, well, I'm doing a pretty good job of forcing them to run out of cards, even though they're doing a pretty good job of getting these signet rings. And therein lies the game. If you manage to make one of those combinations work for you, then you will win. There's also, of course, all the abilities that are going to manipulate that possible victory by creating ties, letting you win ties, adding or subtracting values to these various cards out here, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go too much more into depth on all the little nitpicky abilities. I'll let you discover that. But that is generally how you play the game. Let's go ahead and go back up top. This is a very unassuming little package. It is one that at first I wasn't sure what I was going to get here, but it quickly reveals really interesting, neat combos. And even though I'm not a huge fan of simultaneous card play, I tend to not like that so much. In this one, quickly, very quickly and satisfyingly, you start to see things you should do, should not do, decide if you should play high or low, decide if you think you can sneak something in. There's a lot of decisions for a game that has 16 different cards, basically.
I agree. I love simultaneous selection.
Yeah, you do.
And this one is very intriguing because every card that's played is one less card that exists. You don't know what your opponent has in their hand.
Right.
But you know what they have left.
Right.
So they could play that auto win card, which I haven't seen go off yet.
Right.
Have
I've
you?
seen it, yeah.
You have? Oh, I'm so jealous. Yeah. But that that possibility exists. But once it's out, I know it doesn't exist. Oh wait, this other card might bring this back.
Yes.
There's things like that, and so this game, for 16 cards, has a really wide decision space. This
Right.
is this same week we're reviewing another game, a duel game
That's right.
that has a small decision space. This one looks small, but you're making 5 choices. But you're making this choice knowing what your next choice will be, knowing you don't know what card you'll draw, but knowing the possibilities. It's thinkier than I thought.
Yes. At the end of the day, all these kinds of games, cards with abilities, kinds of games, live or die by how interesting those effects are.
Yes.
And how they interact with one another. And on that front, good night. Did you guys knock it out of the park? Because every card, this is truly one of those card games that every time I play so far, I'm like, that interacts with this other thing, and I hadn't realized that. Like you talk about the winning card, the 16. I've won with that card by lowering the value and triggering it against my opponent playing a card that's too high. Boom, I win. That's easy. I've also won by triggering it lowered, not lower, just at 16 with the 14 triggering. The 14 says, go back and trigger the ability on a card higher than this one.
I saw that. So each time you see these cards, and it's going to be an exploration game.
Yeah.
Especially if you mix the 2 decks.
It's crazy, yeah. And so there's even that, which I haven't talked about. There's a whole other deck of cards that you can play on its own or mix and match and pick, like, I want the 7 from deck 1, but I want the 8 from deck 2. And as long as both players have the same deck, you're good to go.
Scout's honor, if there was only those 16 cards, I would be happy.
I agree.
But the extra 16 cards more than doubles the content in the game.
Right.
Because it's another whole set you could play, and I think the second set is slightly more complex.
It is, and it pushes some stranger combinations, stranger ways to win, like decking your opponent. The second deck pushes that a little more.
But then when you pick, I'm using the 1 from the first set and the 2 from the second and the 3rd from the first. At that point, your combinations are endless, really, and that allows exploration for this game to be never-ending, basically.
Right.
I don't love the artwork, not because I don't think the artwork's good. I think the artwork is very good, but the art itself doesn't give me an idea what the card does. I kind of wish it did a little more of that, like this card that subtracts 5. I wish there was something that the art did to trigger that in my mind.
Agreed.
Even with the families, their colors, that there could be no artwork and it wouldn't change the theming of the game for me, and that saddens me a bit. I wish there was a little more to that.
I agree. Yeah, the theme, the Cardia, land of Cardia or whatever, that's the weakest part of this game, and it's kind of obviously the weaker part of the game. The artwork, I do like the artwork. I like the artist and on what they did. But yeah, that's not going to come through. You're not playing this game because you like the world building. That ain't it. You like it or you play it because of the combinations, the tricky things you get to pull off, the things that are going to happen. I'm also very, very glad, again, talking about how these games live or die by the card effects, I have yet to come up against something that I did the cards or the rulebook didn't answer. And there's some weird interactions.
Sure.
But they are well laid out. Again, a lot of thought went into if this triggers, but then the ability comes off, what happens? How do we retcon the rest of this? It's well laid out. It explains it all in there. It's in there. So I'm happy with that.
The game also has a level of tenseness that I found to be pretty surprising. I was like sitting there going, you feel like, okay, I got this one. I'm going to play a high number, but then his ability is so good. All right, calm down. I mean, I'm going to win this one with the 15, the battle. But if I do that, what if he plays the 14? That card's ability is so good, and it only goes off when you play the 15, or when other weird circumstances happen.
Yeah.
And I'm always tense, especially as each card it gets more tense, because at some points you could lose at any point. And I don't mind this. That level of tenseness I would dislike in an hour or 2 hour game. But in 15, whew, this game leaves me, I'm awake after playing this.
Yeah.
It also doesn't feel very similar to other games out there. I was like, oh, it's a little like Citadels or other card games. There's similarities out there, but it felt, I don't know, chess-like almost.
Yeah, the closest thing I compared it to in my head is it feels a little bit like a 2-player card game that came out from the Brunos, Catala and Fiduti, called Raptor, I think it is.
Yes, you're right. Okay, Raptor's
You play 2 cards. The highest one gets movement points equal to the difference, I think, and the lower one gets the ability. And it's like one of those things. The same kind of idea, but with a board, with a lot more rules, a lot more like it. It's about the closest thing. I can't think of anything else like it. And I'm not thinking of that game while I'm playing this. This is its own thing.
I thought of it now. I can see the similarities. This is nice, and it's also in a very, very portable package.
Yeah.
For me, this is a game that I think that is going to go up for me as time goes by. Mm-hmm. I'm giving it 8.5 now. I mean, I like it that much. I think it's a fantastic, very intriguing game.
Yep.
It's not going to be for everybody, but it was like made for me. And I feel like by the end of the year, next year, I'll be like, maybe it should go higher than that.
Right.
I want to explore it some more, but right now I'm very hot on it.
I've played quite a bit. I've played with you. I played with Chris. I played at Gen Con a bunch. I'm giving it a 9. I agree with that estimation, that it's gone up. The more I play, the more satisfying I find it to make those combinations happen, to be tricky, to see something happen I was not expecting. Whether it's me or my opponent, sometimes they pull something off and I'm like, I applaud that. What a move. You got me.
It is kind of that way. You're like, oh, man. Good job.
Yeah. So for me, a 9 out of 10 on this one. Fantastic little card game. If you enjoy that little genre of cards with powers, of head-to-head fighting, simultaneous selection, if you like any one of those things, you need to check this out. This is a winner in that space. So there you go, folks. That is Duel for Cardia. Make sure you check this one out. My name is Zee Garcia.
I'm Tom Vasel.
Good luck winning the fight.
Thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description of this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and I hope you enjoyed this video.